Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another session of the B-Zone Educational Series. And tonight in the studio we have Frank Marrero and myself, Ed Reether, who are both B-Zone originating contributors to the B-Zone. And so tonight we are especially graced because we are going to talk about Frank's new book, which he has just finished editing and publishing in a draft form, I believe. A Monkey's Tale on the Divine Person. Reading this, I should read it per. Leelas in praise of beloved Adida, Avatara Adida, Love-Ananda, Samraj, Eleutherious, the bright Ruchira Buddha, by Frank Marrero.
And as you say, thank you, Ed, it's a draft. This is my personal stories. And I'm trying to gather stories from others as well, who were at this particular time of engagement with the Guru. So that a fuller version, but that one may take a year, two, I don't know how long it would take to get everybody else's story in. But I finished my portion of it, so to speak.
So if I'm not mistaken, the main thrust of that book, although it is your full story of your relationship with Adida from the beginnings in Tennessee and the Leela of that play even in Tennessee, but the period of the time of the dreaded Gambu, which is in this book, which covers the period of 1982?
Yeah, September 9th, 1982 to February 3rd, 1983, the dreaded Gambu period. And that was from the first gathering to the last. Those are those two dates. And indeed, my book has a drum roll, so to speak, of my early, but that's just for contextualization, mainly so that, because I was like everybody else, I couldn't imagine that there could be a guru. That's, get out of here. I mean, come on. It just seemed independent, it seemed mythical, it seemed foolish, it seemed arrogant, for sure. And the incomprehensibility and the inability of my even spiritual, philosophical background, that there could be someone like that. Well, I was like, no, yeah, okay, there's metaphors here, and there's ways of understanding. What does it mean to have a divine person incarnate? So there's a drum roll period in the beginning of my book which deals with that, the conventional mind and the justified doubt that someone could be pretending to be God or something, like whatever that means, whatever language, that awkward position.
This subject, which is quite understood in India and other parts of the world, in this culture is such a kind of a bizarre circus in today's world.
This time is about self-authenticity, not self-sacrifice, and it's about self-development, not self-begone in absolute joy.
But also simultaneously, it is also reflected in the people who did come over to this country and the foibles of the spiritual masters that were here and did the plays and did all
the foolishness, good foolishness and bad foolishness, and all the cult phenomenon, all that rolled into one. That was, I inherited all of that.
Right.
And was suspicious for good reason.
Well, which is unique about your book is the Leela and the play that Adida had with you personally, which you so eloquently write in this book, engages all the elements that have the taboos of sexuality and drugs and alcohol and the free play of an avahut, of a crazy wise teacher.
Right. The freedoms are complete. Most of the time, of course, we were. Most of my time with Adida was in, years or decades of discipline. But there were periods where, okay, let's take that off for a while and see what else we understand. So people over-focus on that aspect of it. But free is free. He used to say, "Free is my middle name." But he would go to the very points in all of us where the things we couldn't understand, the things that we wouldn't see on our own, and by his constant ecstasy, he would be able to see our limitations in joy pointedly. And so that is one of the main sections. The main section is that period when we were in a room about the size of this room. It was tiny, and not much bigger at all than this room. And 20 of us, 23 of us, for 8 to 16 hours a day for 5 months. And he would, of course, radiant light, reveal everyone to themselves. And how he revealed my narcissus and self-fascination to me was painful and detailed. And so I get to recount that for everyone, to show what that looked like, what it felt like, and the liberation that eventually would grow out of that. So that's the main portion of this book, is the detailing. And there is some miraculous thises and that's, which make for a good story, and help me overcome my conventional mind. But the main thing was about him giving the fieriness of the gift of self-understanding.
One thing unique about this book as opposed to some of the other books that I've read is that you don't come into this play with Avatara from a believer's point of view. You have a lot of
Doubt.
You have a lot of questions. You have a lot of kind of wondering about how this all plays out and who he is and all of that. But also, after the fact, it took you a long period of time to digest this period.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it wasn't like you entered into this play with Avatara and he took you in and brought you into the divine realm, and now you're, forever and ever believing in Avatara as the one and true only God.
Oh no. Well, it took a lot. It took many decades. To begin, and so I was a strong person. I was not a believer child.
So I want to get into more of the specifics of the play that Avatara had with you, and that you write so eloquently in the book. And I have to encourage people to really look at this book. And it's on the B-Zone. The first couple of 3 chapters are on the B-Zone, and you can look at it. It's very, very well written, and extremely illuminating in terms of who a guru is and who this particular guru and divine guru is, and the revelation that Frank was given to see the divinity or the truth of
existence itself.
Of the light.
That continues, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about, was his death. This is a reminiscence, a Leela of his life, and he is passed. And so there's the what you say, the spiritual arrogance and the spiritual poverty, egoic points of view. Which Avatara said when he was alive, it's been so great back in the garbage and the goddess. Those are the good old days. Like people in the future would go, it'd be so good to be back in the time of the spiritual master. Those were the good old days. And that is non-recognition. If you see him truly, if you understand the clarity of divine incarnation and the song of the self-supreme that he speaks and is, then the transmission doesn't come at you like an electric shot from afar, but rather you stand, and, as he says, my work is the event of bliss already rising in your eyes. The sight of my appearance is no question, no other. I am no other. Who exists is me. I am the wave of light within your mind that happens to be everything, my love. So that transmission, that depth of it, that directness of, he teaches the transcendental I am, was eternally established by him, beyond time and space, beyond the body-mind, therefore beyond time and space. It is effective always, every now. Truly, this is not a sentimental affectation. If anyone will study the teaching of Avatara so that the intelligence of self-understanding begins to make its point, and then turn to his person and admire, enjoy, adore his supreme incarnation, being, then that same transmission will be a backwind that was already at your rear. Mm. And so that is that's the great thing about a Leela, is that these cool things happened to me, and I learned this, and all entertaining, but that's still not who he is. Who he is reality itself, the joy of reality itself.
Is that there's a certain kind of sense of difference between those who were within his company, mm-hmm. had the play, and mm-hmm. actually were purified in their person mm-hmm. by that play with Avatara, and those who were not, mm-hmm. those who somehow missed it. And so I think we want to reiterate the message that you're including, is that he was not limited in time and space. He was not limited in form. He was not limited in just his physical incarnation.
No, not at all. And I hope that's communicated well. That's something I strive to make sure, because this spiritual arrogance of privilege and the spiritual paucity of non-inclusion are both ego. It said in the traditions that the greatest sin, one of the greatest sins, or the greatest sin, is to think the guru see the guru as an ordinary man, and that is a great sin. That does miss the mark.
And he also said one of the blessing gifts he's left, and every guru has said this from time immemorial, is that the Leelas of his play with devotees are the gift of Avatara himself, or the guru himself. And so I just want to say, for the listeners tonight and those who are interested in Frank's book, you will be delighted by the play and the Leelas and the transmission that this book holds for every devotee and non-devotee, or anybody even slightly interested, because it
communicates the company of Avatara, which was my gift, and that I can share.
And you will be delighted. So I recommend you strongly to go on the B-Zone, read a couple of pages and first 2 chapters, and go further if you wish.
Thanks.
And thank you for coming and sharing with us.
Yeah, yes, he is my pleasure.
So thank you again, and I look forward to another session on the B-Zone with you.